Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse today, March 2nd, 2026. Now, the big news, obviously, over the weekend was the bombing of Iran, the things that have come next. 3 U.S. service members killed, 3 planes shot down mistakenly by Kuwait. We'll get to that at the end when we talk about the United Nations and the U.S. mission not taking any action on the UN censorship, and today bringing in First Lady Melania Trump to talk about technology and children in the midst of all this. We'll see how that goes. We'll be covering it. But today is the kickoff of the Live Nation U.S. DOJ versus Live Nation antitrust trial, beginning with jury selection. I don't think there'll be any opening arguments today, but it's very important to them how they choose a jury. In fact, there's been some dispute about whether anyone that's ever bought a ticket from Ticketmaster should be on the jury because of how bad their experience might have been. I think if you kept them off, you don't even you have to use Ticketmaster even if you don't want to. So I think they're going to get on the jury. There's a whole thing of whether they should be precluded from getting any recovery. If the state's part of the case wins and there is a recovery, the recovery would be pretty small, frankly. So I think Judge Serene is going to let them get their $299, or maybe not. We'll have to see. We'll be covering it. Also, the Alexander brothers. It's been a long slog. It's been weeks. It's been weeks of victims from the Hamptons and Aspen and the Groove Cruise off Miami. And it's coming to a close. The government is going to rest today. The defense has said they're going to have a week-long case. Judge Caproni is skeptical. And it is true that many times people say they have a defense case and they don't, but we'll see. It's Mark Agnifilo. He's already signed up to represent Harvey Weinstein in his 3rd trial. So there's that. So we'll be covering both of those. As we turn the corner here with the police barricades still left up from Chinese New Year, Year of the Horse. On the financial front and legal front, Fifth Third, Rogue Bank that bought Comerica, closing 76 branches, thumbing their nose at public comments. Well, they've been sued. They've been sued for their role in the Tricolor fraud. Auto firm, Tricolor. The executives, there's a criminal case here in SDNY, but they've been sued civilly, along with J.P. Morgan Chase, the ubiquitous J.P. Morgan, Jeffrey Epstein, Jamie Dimon Chase, AI Chase. So that's a case we'll be following, and we'll be following those banks and many others. Now, in the time remaining before we reach the courthouse, today, well, first, on Saturday, there was an emergency meeting of the Security Council, and we live streamed it as it happened. We're banned from entering the UN, as we've raised for a full month. We didn't think we should have to ask the U.S. mission for any assistance. And we also didn't think if we reached out that there would be no response at all. And by this, I don't just mean they may or may not like Inner City Press, and that's fine. But you'd think that a U.S. agency interfacing with the UN would have to respond to a U.S. citizen that has like a legitimate, like, hey, they roughed me up and threw me out. There would be some response. Nothing. So we're going to cover it today. We told them this was the deadline. Apparently, it doesn't make any difference to them. Now they're in a world of confusion and criticism over there. But from this side too, we're going to be raising it to a few select people in D.C. The lack of action from the U.S. mission. Again, I'm totally willing to turn on a dime as they do their job, but they're not doing their job. I'll be very clear about this. The first job of a quote-unquote MAGA U.S. mission to the UN is to make sure that U.S. people, including media, are not being mistreated by the UN. That would be job 1. Job undone, not done. So we'll be covering it today. First, they have their program of work, choosing the program of the month. We'll cover that. Then there'll be a Melania Trump, 3 p.m. It will be kind of surreal, but we'll cover it because we're Inner City Press and we cover the UN even if they don't want it. Even if the U.S. mission doesn't want it, we'll be covering it. To be continued, Inner City Press.